You've got something in your teeth.
What?
No, I'm only joking.
Oh.
Only joking. I thought that's something we should discuss today, though.
Hi, I'm Sans.
And I'm Shira,
This is Gift of the Gab.
where we take contemporary issues and look at them through a giving lens. So, Sans, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
I was recently at a function and there was a woman sitting next to me and her dress was on inside out.
Oh my.
And I just met her, we were chatting, and then the moment I realised her dress was on inside out, for some reason, I wanted to tell her, but I was like plucking up the courage. And I couldn't like really engage with her properly because I'm thinking in the back of my head, your dress is on inside out. And I was thinking and thinking it. And eventually she was about to get up and dance. And I said to her, I just noticed your dress is on inside out. You should probably go and fix it. And she did. And she was really happy that I told her. But my question to you is, why on earth was I struggling with that? It was such an easy thing to tell her. What was going on with me?
It's such an interesting one. Why do people get awkward around telling someone and helping someone out that will actually just avoid embarrassment? It's a bit hard for that one because what was she going to do? Go home?
She went to the bathroom and changed. And
okay, yeah, she could go to the bathroom. There you go. It's a good question. I don't know actually why we do get this kind of nervousness that we kind of scared to tell people, afraid, whatever the word is, to say, you know, this is what's happening. I remember you just brought up something when you just said teeth, funny. But we were at a Shabbaton and we had quite a big rabbi there and there was a bunch of guys and he had to catch a train. So he was leaving this estate home and there were about 10 of us standing talking to him. We hadn't bonded too much with him. And the one guy says, Rabbi, can I give you a hug? So he goes, sure. So he gave him a hug and hugged him for more than 1-2 seconds. And as he pulled away, the rabbi said, that was just the best way to tell me my flower was down.
Wow.
And it was just a brilliant, and he turned around, pulled up his flower, and that was...
I love that story.
Yeah, that just stuck with me. So, and he was really appreciative. He said, I would have gone onto the train, I would have sat on the train, and I wouldn't have known, and the whole day people would have looked at me. And thank you for doing that.
Wow, because I guess that's the thing. Every time someone tells you these type of things, you're like so grateful, or you come away from an engagement, you look in the mirror and you're like, why didn't anyone tell me that I had something in my teeth?
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone wants to hear it. The question is, why do we not want to say it?
I got to shul once.
Yeah.
And we had got through quite a lot of shul. And a guy came up to me and said, you don't have a kippah on. And it's like, I don't know how that happened, but it just obviously woke up, left the house. And but no one else told me for 15 minutes on the way to shul or anything. So I was really appreciative.
Wow. But probably there were people, I'm assuming, that have been sitting there judging you and thinking, maybe he doesn't want to work
what's
kippah
going
anymore.
on with Rabbi Sands? So, yeah, I don't know. But I was appreciative then.
Do you think it's a do you think you'd be more direct because you're South African?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit cultural. I have noticed that, you sit on the tube and something's a bit off with someone. And I just remember a very funny thing on the tube. There was a young lady. She, I don't think she was drunk at all, but she was exhausted.
Yeah.
And she must have, she fell asleep and she lay and snuggled onto the man's shoulder.
Yeah.
And he was this very nice, polite British man. And he just sat there. And I was watching this. I was thinking, this is brilliant. She was literally cuddling onto his shoulder.
So funny.
And he was so polite. It was so nice, but he didn't move her off, which I think, some people might have. But it was just an interesting thing why he didn't do that.
So for those 15 minutes sitting next to that woman who had a dress on inside out, I was literally going through it in my head. I was really in my head about it. And I was thinking, I feel bad. I don't want to tell her because she'll be embarrassed. And that was that. I didn't want to cause her that embarrassment. But also, I'm a very awkward person. I'm very British. I didn't want to do that awkward conversation as well. It was a bit of both, I would say.
I must say, the guy that told the rabbi, he was South African and the rabbi was American. So just thinking back, there are times when things are hard to say to people.
Yeah.
We see giving isn't always easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, give someone advice even, or you have to give someone, that heads up. And it is a little bit orcs, and Why?
But you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Just before we came into the podcast room to record this episode, I said to you, I don't even remember, we were about to walk in. I was like, oh, I just need to pay someone. And it was someone that I'd owed money to and I forgot to pay her. And she sent me this really like, I'm really sorry to ask you, but could you please pay me back? And there is no part of me that wants to owe someone money.
Yeah, sure.
And so she was feeling so guilty. She probably plucked up the courage for ages to send me this message.
Yeah.
But like, and I was like, please tell me in future if I ever owe you money, please tell me in future that I'm just going to pay you immediately. I don't want to owe her money. And she's having such a hard time sending me a message telling me that I owe her money.
Sometimes you just have to tell people that even what they don't want to hear, that's the kindest thing and the nicest thing you can do for them. It often happens in the workplace. You know, a person has done great, but they get to a point where it's time that they need to look outwards. And we become, you know, a little bit safe it can become safe in our work environment. And it's good. If you're enjoying your work environment and you're thriving and things are going well, amazing. But sometimes people become a bit stale. And that's when it's, you know, important for if someone's a friend, if someone's close and they say, well, what should I do? Sometimes it's okay to say, you know, maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's okay. So,
I'm feeling a little bit attacked here. Is this a subtle way of you announcing on a podcast?
not at all.
No, I actually completely hear that. And there are times where you have to have these conversations that are difficult, but you know it's for someone's own good.
I think that's the bottom line is giving's not always easy.
Yeah.
But it's important to have those conversations. You know, I was once told that some of the toughest conversations you'll have are the most important ones.
Yeah.
You know, where it's a little bit awkward, a little bit hard, but you get through it and both people come out better for it.
I mean, I feel like that's what we've been having quite a lot of these conversations recently.
Yeah. You know,
I've had to do it with lots of volunteers and people that recipients and things for safeguarding at Gift, and it's hard.
It's not easy, but you have to be clear. When you give people good, clear, defined boundaries, one, give them clear advice or clear, instruction. It's not always easy, but it helps. And that's part of the giving process, and that's part of building our giving muscle, is that really being able to have the harder conversations, sometimes more awkward conversations. Thank God someone told me that I didn't have a kip on. And those are the kind of things that we need.
Yeah.
So.
And I once read an article, and it was about big stuff, but it was linked into, it was a manners expert or something. And she calls it the spinach in your teeth rule, which is quite funny because it relates to this message. But if you're about to have a conversation with someone, treat it like spinach in their teeth. Is it easily fixable? Can they fix it? Don't ever say something to someone and have that conversation, but something that they can't fix. Like, you're really this, like that's not going to be able to be fixed. Right. If it's something like taking spinach out of your teeth, it's easy and they can do it.
So with that in mind, that's important to remember that having those tough conversations, sometimes awkward conversations, obviously only if the person can fix it, is really needed. And it's part of building our giving muscle. So, Shira, what would your takeaways be?
So I guess given the fact that I'm really awkward about doing this and I do second guess myself, to keep in mind that number one, people really, really want to know if they've got something in their teeth, or people want to know this stuff, and you're doing them a massive favor by telling them. Do. So let's JDI, just do it. Let's do it. The other one is make sure that whatever you tell them is fixable, as we just said. And number three, like the guy who gave the hug, tell them in a sensitive way and don't do it in front of everyone. Don't make it into a joke. Do it in a kind way. Keep your kindness, whatever you do.
Love that. I love that. That's great. And it's been good. And we'd love to always hear your feedback. So if you've got any feedback, let us know at podcast@jgift.org.
Make sure that all feedback is sensitive and it's something that we can fix, and is just don't do it.
I don't like your voice, Sandra. Well, tough. So always great chatting with you, Shira. And
likewise.
Until next time, keep doing good things.
Gift's mission is to inspire and enable lifelong giving. Subscribe to Gift of the Gab podcast wherever you get your podcast from. And feel free to drop us a note at podcast@jgift.org if you have any comments or any suggestions of what we should be talking about in future. And of course, check us out on social media @Gift Charity for ways to get involved.